This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Let's move on then to our Android Basics section, and we continue our look at One UI settings. And John talks about location.
Hello, welcome back to our series on Samsung's One UI. Today we're going to be going to our next section of the settings, which is location, and it's going to look like this.
Location requests.
I'm going to open it.
Location. Navigate up. Button.
And what we first have is a global switch at the top for whether location is turned on or not.
On. Location. Switch.
I have mine on. Here's where you would turn it off. You could also add this to your quick settings if you want a quick way to toggle it.
App permissions.
Then we have app permissions. I'm going to go in here.
Location. Navigate up. Button.
And this is going to be a list of all of your apps that would like access to your location for whatever reason. And it's broken into 3 headings.
Location. Apps with this permission can access this device's location. Heading.
Here's the first section.
Allowed all the time. Heading.
These are apps that you've given permission to track your location all the time.
Android System Intelligence. Last accessed yesterday at 11:01 a.m.
And it'll tell you the last time it was accessed by this app.
Google. Last accessed 9:22 a.m.
I'm going to open this just to show you where it takes you.
Location permission. Navigate up. Button.
This is a page where you could choose the type of location permission.
Selected. Allow all the time. Radio button.
So it's allowed all the time.
Not selected. Allow only while using the app. Radio button.
You could change it to only while I'm using the app.
Not selected. Ask every time. Radio button.
Ask
Not
every
selected.
time.
Don't allow. Radio button.
Never. And then you can choose the type of...
Use precise location. When precise location is off, apps can access your approximate location. Off. Switch.
So whether you want it to be precise or not. I'm going to back out.
Location. Google. Last accessed 9:22 a.m.
So the next heading we have is...
Allowed only while in use. Heading.
Allowed only while in use. So these are all the apps that you have allowed. When you're actually in the app using it, it'll track your location. For example, like if you have a shopping app like Best Buy, and you want it to know your location so it could tell you the nearest store, but you don't want it always tracking you, that's the type of app you would have in this list. The next heading is...
Not allowed. Heading.
So, not allowed. These are all the rest of the apps that, for whatever reason, will request location permission, and you have not yet granted it. I'm going to back out of this screen.
Location. App permissions.
So we're back on the main screen for location, and the next setting we have is...
Location services.
Let's see what the location services are.
Location services. Navigate up. Button.
So here are all the types of location services that you can enable or disable.
Earthquake alerts. On.
So if your area supports earthquake alerts, you can turn this on or off.
Emergency location service. On.
This is whether or not you want it to send your location to emergency services when you make a call. In the US, it's 911. So if you were to call 911, it would send your location automatically. Keep in mind, even if you have this turned off, your carrier will most likely still send your location data when you do make an emergency call. It's different with every carrier, but just keep that in mind.
Google location accuracy. On.
Let's see what this is.
Google location accuracy. Navigate up. Button. Google's location service improves location accuracy by using Wi-Fi, mobile networks, and sensors to help estimate your location. Google may collect location data periodically and use this data in an anonymous way to improve location accuracy and location-based services. Turning this off will result in your device only using GPS for location. This may impact the accuracy of location used by apps such as Maps and Find My Device.
So there you go. Turning this on gives you a more accurate location.
Location services. Google location accuracy. On.
Next we have,
Google location history. Tap to manage.
let's go in here.
Google Play services. Close. Button.
And here's a quick description of it.
Location history. Saves where you go with your devices, even when you aren't using a specific Google service, to give you personalized maps recommendations based on places you visited and more. Learn more. Link.
And you can learn more if you want to.
On.
It's on.
Turn off. Button.
You could turn it off if you want. So if you're not comfortable with Google collecting all of your location information basically all of the time, you can come in here to turn it off. I'm going to back out.
Location services. Google location history. Tap to manage.
And next we have,
Google location sharing. Tap to manage. Google account. Navigate up. Button.
and here's a description of location sharing.
Location sharing lets you share your real-time location from your devices with people you choose. What information is shared? Heading 3. People you share your location with can see your name, photo, and real-time location across Google services, even when you're not using Maps. They can also add location sharing notifications to know when you arrive at or leave specific locations. Shared information may include where you've recently been, how you're traveling, and your device info. You aren't sharing your real-time location with anyone on Google. Protect your privacy. To stop sharing your location with someone, tap Stop next to their name. To temporarily stop all location sharing, turn off location in your device settings. Learn more about this in Google Support. Opens in a new tab. Link.
All right, so I'm going to back out.
Location services. Google location sharing. Tap to manage.
Next we have,
Improve accuracy. Heading.
and there are 2 items under this heading.
Wi-Fi scanning. Let apps use Wi-Fi for more accurate location detection, even when Wi-Fi is on. Switch.
And
Bluetooth scanning. Let apps use Bluetooth for more accurate location detection, even when Bluetooth is on. Switch.
so basically, if you really want Wi-Fi to turn off when you turn it off, and you really want Bluetooth to turn off when you turn it off, you can turn these switches off. Going back to the main location screen,
Location. Location services.
and then the last thing we have
Recent access. Heading.
is a list of apps that have recently accessed your location.
Chrome. 62 minutes ago.
And if you open these,
Location permission. Navigate up. Button.
it will take you to the same screen from earlier where you can choose what type of location, whether it be precise or not precise, and whether it can access all the time or not. So that brings us to the end of this short but very important settings section, location. I'll send it back to the crew now.
So are you a generous man, John? Do you allow your apps to have their location permissions?
Yeah, I do for the most part. I'm not one of those people that's kind of paranoid about somebody knowing where I am at any given point. I mean, I know some people are different. I know. I remember one of the new Oppo phones. You know how the OnePlus phones have that slider switch, but I don't remember what they call it. But I call it scumbag mode. They have like you can put the switch into a position where it turns off camera, microphone, and location all at the same time without even having to take your phone out of your pocket.
On the OnePlus
No, the
or the
Oppo.
Oppo? Ah, amazing. That
I would
does
be
sound quite
so
funny.
I would be so upset if they did that to the OnePlus slider and didn't like allow you to change it back to like have it be vibrate, silent, or ring. Because I
Yeah,
actually
I was
do
gonna.
like that. Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? That's what I liked about my OnePlus 8. It is funny though, location services. So I know one country's military base got discovered, and it was not one they wanted to publicize. And it got discovered because people had enabled location services on Strava, the running app, and they noticed that people in the army were running laps of a of a certain perimeter, and that told everyone where the base was. So, depending on what you do, you might want to be careful which apps you allow to have access to your location permissions. What about you, Austin? Do you let apps know where you are?
I only let apps that require the permission, not all the apps. So if there's something like Zomato, some medical app, that delivery apps, like for example, they require the permission, so I just grant them. But I'm also not paranoid, so I if any app wants, I can just grant them. But not all the apps, because it also eats the battery on GPS.
Yeah, but will you refuse it to some apps if they ask and you don't think the app should have it?
Yeah, then I refuse them, or I just let the app use whenever the app is being used, not in the
Yeah.
background.
I would definitely use scumbag mode on the Oppo phone. I think I don't. Even if it's a GPS app and I think it needs it, then fine. But it's a very high bar in my apps list for you to get location permissions. What about you, Kireen?
I'm the person who keeps location off all the time, unless I need it. I turn it on, and then when I finish, I immediately turn it off. And of course, I'm not the person who keeps the location history, that one related to Google. I don't know why Google wants to know every place that I go to, or that why anyone would just let Google know all of this information.
And it
And
wants
yeah,
to sell you
I'm
things.
like, I don't want them to sell me anything. They are already
No, but
they
they
already
want
know a
to.
lot of about me. They
Yeah,
already know a
they
lot
really
about
want.
me.
They really want to.
Actually, I'm not the person who is a target of advertisement, because I'm not a person who pays a lot. So they should go to someone else, like John. John is better, and he keeps it
Yeah,
on actually to help them.
yeah. John's
Yeah, but
ideal.
you should
He's
of course he is the best person for advertisements. Yeah, but people should just really be careful about at least the apps that ask for permissions, the location permission, without really needing to, because some apps really don't need the location permission, and people should just think twice before giving this permission, granting it to any application.
Especially if you have installed the apps out of the Play Store, and if it asks for permission, then you need to be really careful.
Yeah, I agree. You should look at what the app does and see if it really needs location before you grant it.
Yeah, sometimes it's very convenient to have location even in the background in some cases. Like I give my Nest app permission to always track me because I want notifications from my backyard camera if somebody's in my backyard, but not when I'm home because that's me in the backyard, you know. So I do want Nest to know when I'm home or not. So, like if you want your life to be a little more convenient in those situations, then you might want to allow certain apps to access it all the time. But generally, yeah, I don't let apps access it all the time. Even though I do have my Google location history turned on, as you saw in the demo, I just haven't gotten around to turning it off, I guess.
Doesn't Nest use cameras though?
Yeah.
So shouldn't it know it's you without location services being enabled? That's really if
No, it doesn't, because it doesn't always see a face. If it sees like the back of me, it'll just say it's an unfamiliar face or something, or it'll just say person. if it sees the face, it'll say unfamiliar face or it'll say who it is. But sometimes even if it's me, it doesn't recognize me. It says I'm an unfamiliar person.
Is that when you've got the balaclava on and you're about to go and rob the bank?
Probably.
Yeah, that'll be why. Maybe don't wear balaclavas and don't rob banks. Would be my suggestion. What about you, Sally?
Well, I'm not that type of person turns on location all the time. I'm only for delivery apps, and also it's only when I'm using the app. In the background, I don't use location. But here's the thing. I don't like Google tracking me wherever I go, but at the end of the month, when they send me an email, I want to check wherever I've been. Like, okay, this is the place that I've gone. Oh, really? Is it the place that I've been this day? I'm like, okay, super exciting.
I suppose it's good if we're falsely accused of criminal offences, isn't it? We can pull up our Google location email and go, nope, I wasn't there. Look, it says I was here. Like, honestly. The thing I want to say about location settings as well, specifically location services, and it's a point I've made many times before, but a key advantage of Android. Some services that have geo-blocking restrictions have wised up to the fact that people are using virtual private networks, VPNs, to get around those, and they will base the restriction on your location services. Now, you might think, okay, I'll just turn it off, but they've wised to that as well, and they will not allow you to access whatever service it is. This is even services you pay for. So if you are a UK subscriber, for instance, to something, and you pay for it, but you go abroad, you can't use it. And if it's using location services rather than VPNs, then what do? Android, happily, it's not in these settings, but it's related, allows you to have a mock location. Developers use this in particular to perfect their apps. So you need to enable developer options, which you do typically by going into About Phone and tapping on the build number, or double tapping 7 times, I think. And in there, you can turn on mock location. You need an app. So there are various ones on the Play Store. They all pretty much do the same thing. You set your location, and then your phone thinks you're somewhere else, and you can circumvent geo-blocking restrictions. I was going to say to your heart's content. That's not quite accurate, because as with VPNs, they sometimes work and they sometimes don't. Sometimes the naughty parent geo-blocking app tumbles to what you're doing, but as with VPNs, it's worth a retry. But an important facet of location and location circumventing on Android, which is much, much harder to do on iOS.